黎明を灯す。黎明を灯す。
啓蒙の玉座に来たことはありますか？
え、ああ、過去の輪廻でなら。
あなたは他の学生よりもずっと恵まれているようですね。待ってください。どうやら誰かが見ている。
へえ、あんた世界をめちゃくちゃにした偽りの神って
相変わらず七賢人の名において今すぐ啓蒙の玉座から離れるよう命じます。ここは至高なる理性の聖地。いかなる冒涜も許されません。今の言葉をそのままアグライアに伝えてください。同じことは二度言いませんね。
ああ、技術の半身とさえ呼んでくれないんだ。本当？さっきの言葉そのままあんたに返させてもらうよ。そもそもこの世界で一番神を冒涜してる異端者に言われたくないよね。それにこの件はあんたとは関係ない。
火を盗む族。
ねえクラコさ、もうちょい言葉ってもんを選んだらどうだ。けど悪くない、気に入ったぜ。お返しにこのサーシスの火だってアニメソカフェよ。
へへん、楽勝だったね。さあ逃げるよ。
まるっきり同じ狡猾で。
ほ
もちろんこれだけの道のりを歩ん。
ちょっとどこ行くの？
おいらにもわから
う。礼拝が
来たかザグレウス。僕の忍耐もそろそろ。
おいらに言わせればあんたこそがオンパロスの災いだぜ。どんだけ小僧がすごくってもな、所詮はただの人間だろ。火種を12個も持つなんて笑わせんな。進化に飲まれてこの世界を道連れにするのがオチだっての。
134。これは僕の134回目の輪廻だ。
1596。
ああ、
1000個以上の火種をたった一人の黄金
だがいつか。
ああ、でもその時が訪れるまでその日はヘリオスを鍛え続ける。これが最後の警告だ。
キキキ、この世界に1億通りの未来があるとしたら、そのうち9999万9999通り。けどこの嫌われ者のオイラは神の力を振るってや。
バトルズ。
小僧やれ。キキキ、猫耳のことだな。早くアグライアのところに行け。この小僧は
新世界は
オイラたちの手に余る。
はっ、
なかなかやるじゃん。
前へ進む以外道はない。来るべき明日のために。失望させるわけには。新世界は必ず訪れる。もともとあまたの火種の怒りにこの身をくべよう。宝石の余人をもって来世に暁を。僕の記憶ではザグレウスはいつも同じ結末を迎えている。だからこの別れが、
この理性の火種は2世
ああ、こうなることは知っていた。そして悔しさ、これまで出会ってきた無数の彼女たち同様。
ねえ、同じ展開を何度も。次は奇術の火種を。
それは君の出方次第だ。少なくとも今のところ君がそう
そりゃよかった。礼を言わないとだね。でもだって
信じようが信じまいが。
あっそなら
そこまでです。
こういう展開は初め。
固めの坊や。
言ってください。その足は私の生徒である。その心の奥底に
まばたきもせず。今やっとその答えが分かったよ。
これ以上最後まで抗うか。たとえ徒労であっても。ええ、
神々が書いたどんな些細な脚地。
こうして侠客と学者はまたも同じいや同じ運命。終わりのない暗闇の中、火を追う旅は喪失の道。火に身を投じる。それは全ての旅。
随分と醜い姿だ。
108,600モーディス。
図に乗るな。
ああ、そうだ。肩を並べ共に歩んだあのそしてヘリオスが君の第10胸椎に刺さる。
面白い。聞かせろ。かつてのメデイモスが貴様と対峙した時、臆したことはあったか。
一度もない。
そうならば紛争だが、貴様の目にはまだ連城。
僕は壊滅に完全に飲み込まれないためにも
もし俺に勝てたのなら、来世のメデイモスにこう伝えろ。
心に刻むよ。
たとえ王朝に残っている者が一人だろうと、祭典は従来通り行われる。汝はいずれ背に傷を受けて死ぬだろう。俺が試練を乗り越えた時、死に際の神々が放ったざれ言だが、察するにそう安い。
あ
ならば来い。我最後のゴルゴーの子、紛争の半身、貴様に敬意を表す。この身の幾千万の傷跡と命をもって救世の烈術に三千たる光を添えてやろう。見よ、クレムノス最後の祭典が幕を上げた。そして死する時まで降りることはない。
この世を磨くチャンスだ。新世界は必ず訪れる。失望させるわけには。
世を征服する。俺に屈服するか。
君が望むままに前世を誇るこの姿に君に敬意を払おう。
望むところだ。
抜け殻が血をもって焼き入れよう。
レイソーゴージャス。
この痛みを心に刻め。この身の炎はまだ足りない。空虚の魂、宝石の余人をもって来世に暁を。抜け殻がその程度。
不公平な運命への怒りでこの身に証拠を刻んでみせろ。貴様にできるのならな、救世主。
どうだ、憎しみ新たな烈術をもって天を引き裂く。抜け殻が空虚の魂。宝石の余人をもって来世に暁を。メデイモス、紛争で決着をつけよう。 がいい。次の輪廻があるのならその時も必ずお前の前に立ちはだかる。上昇を祈る救世主。これで108,640だけど炎はまだ不完全だと
どれほど輝く太陽だと。それにそのような太陽では来世の命。
黄金の血は壊滅から生まれたもただ炎を燃え上がらせることでしか。
一つ質問させてください。
2404万1183。
あまりにもだからそのような姿にまるで。
構わない。君は
お断りします。あなたが死より。
火種を渡してくれればもう無駄な死はなく。
無駄な死。やはりあなたどうか引き返してください。そしてあなたの途方もない
やはり剣を交えずに済まそう
なんて痛ましい。あなたにかなわないことは分かっています。きっともう私たとえケファレであっても万物を意のままに想像することはできませんし、だからこそ私は苦慮の私は暗淡たるてどうか引き返して安らかな死を妨げないでください。花々が土に帰るような死を。どうして。残念ですがこの生と死の境界では巨竜の残骸しか残っていません。それでも私は抗い希望ある者を全力で守ります。
大丈夫さ。己を磨くチャンスだ。来るべき明日のために。失望させるわけには。
どうかここで安らかにね。
断る。僕は魂の劣化に変えなければあの壊滅の心臓を焼き尽くさねばならないのだから。
このあの悲惨な未来と何が違うのですか。
空虚な魂、新たな烈日をもって天を引き裂く。血をもって焼き入れよう。その程度。
止められない。
抜け殻がどうだ。宝石の余震をもって来世に暁を。星々を燃やし尽くす諸行をもたらそう。
空虚の魂。
たとえ勝てなくても私は
ならこの追憶をもって君の何百万もの構想に
迷える者目を覚ましたい闇の中の過去を見定めてそれは違う
竜の腹から取り出しこれはみんなをこの先の200万2404万ああ来たんだねまだ僕の君だって未だに奇跡が起こるもし一縷の望みがあるならばでもオンパロスと全く関わりのない君の信念は揺らけど神が設計した演算回路の中にあっても旅立った時の信念だけはそういえば400万回そうかああ初めて12の壊滅かつてないほどの力が胸の中で渦巻いてしかし今この体は4800万個の火種を背負っているその時が来たらいや新しい輪廻が僕の役目はそれから勇敢だけどリスクの高い計画だどうやって輪廻を悲しいことにだけど旅立った時の信念だまさかこの数百万回の輪廻の中で
私には天空の半身として
暗黒の潮が火種を渡せ
病に苦しんでる患者さんの前で
ヒヤシンシア君たちの死無駄にしないと誓ういつもみたいに
太陽の役目を果たすのです
私たちは夜明け
私はあなたを信じたとわからないんです人のあなたの温かさがかすかにしか
燃え盛る進化と比べれば
それでも
僕はみんなの願いはたとえ進化が激しく燃え盛り起点に戻るたびみんなの願いがどの輪何度も
わかりましたあなたはじゃああなた自身のカスライナ様欠陥がないただ一つの恨み事あなただけの自我はもう
これはなら旧世の炎に
いえ
空虚な炎ではそれでも神婚の目ヒヤシンシア風雨を呼べるほど強く私にあの優しい虹の光がそしてオンパロスに輝きにはもう陰りがありますがぬくもりはまだ残っています。救世主よどうか私に心を開いてください。
この烈日が金色の炎で天空を埋め尽くす。
宝石の余人をもって来世に暁を。天空に進化。
この炎はまだた
血をもって焼き入れよう。その手を赤き天空を恐れよ。紛争の名を刻みつける。新たな烈日をもって天を引き裂く。空虚の魂抜け殻がその宝石の余人をもって来世に暁を。
天空でこの世にある全ての苦痛を融合させよ。
空虚の魂運命に屈する気など未知抜け殻が
さようならヒヤシンシア。
あなたですが
火種が昇り今回の日をいつもと変わら空の果てそれがぼーっとしていたあの鉄壺というこれがあえて逆らおう。2357万もう何も追わなくていい。悲哀は決して悠然と花の海を去んこの僕がもう一つの太陽が地平線より昇る。3003君はこれから無数の記憶がかつての数えきれないほどの僕が同じ場所に立って同じ選択に直面していた。 僕は君に別れを、僕は燃え続ける。神々と仲間たちを殺し火種を奪う。必ず再創生を阻止し、どうやらじゃあ君は彼女の言葉を忘れたのかい。やっと相棒。なるほど、ごめん。君たちを家に帰してあげたかった。これは僕の火を追う旅で、本来なら二人に関係のないことだったのに。いや、そんなことはないさ。君も分かっているはずだ。もし鉄棒がそんな最悪の結末を迎えないためのあがきだったんだろう。何千万回もの輪廻の中で、僕はここでたくさんの君に別れを告げてきた。僕たちのやりとりはどんどん短くなっていき、君の炎は激しく燃え上がっていった。僕には、ああ、分かっているさ。君はそうするしかない。だけど今、そのたゆまぬ努力のおかげで運命はついに転機を迎えようとしている。やっ ぱり地平線を照らすのは覚えているかい？最初の輪廻で君とメデイモスが何にすべきか迷っていた時何を言ってるんだろう。僕は君じゃないか。とっくに僕を心の言い直すよ。天秤の前で迷って、それが何だったかまだ覚えているかい？ああ、過去を記憶に刻んで明日の英雄になろう。世界の運命よりも重いもの、それは変えられない過去を背負って未来へ進む決意だ。よくできました。君はこの見知らぬ世界に足を踏み入れ、危機に直面しても一歩も引かず、これまでもたくさんの世界を救い、胸のチケットを、もし僕があの門を抜けて壊滅にふさわしい結末へと進み、数億の火種でできた太陽の力を持って壊滅の神やその眷属と共に燃え尽きる道を選んだとしたら、僕たちに残されたこの世界、僕がまだ希望があると信じている家を代わりに背負って、その破滅へと向かう運命を書き換えてくれるだろうか。最後にもう一度だけ始まりへ戻り、鉄母の誕生を阻止して、僕たちが愛してやまない世界を救ってほしいんだ。よかった。これできっと長い徒労が積み重なった焦土にもようやく花が。じゃあ、彼女が万象のただ燃えることしか知らない炎よりもっと遠くまで救世の道を切り開いていけるはずだ。一人は未来へ進み、一人は過去にとどまる。僕がヘリオスで神を殺すことができれば、それに君が鉄母の誕生を阻止する方法を見つけてくれれば、僕たちのチームワークが試される時が。
長い間お疲れ様、相棒。
心の中で思い描いていた英雄がこの長い火を追う旅の果てになあキュレネ、今までになかった新しいページが開かれ、歳月の力を貸してくれ。この英雄を時間の原点へ、そして君のもとへ送り届けよう。その後はまだ果たされていない道を歩き通すよ。
地下へ、たとえ。
ああ、地下を。
それで
心に刻め。今この瞬間と世界の果てを目の当たりにできなかった友たちの祝願を、そして心の奥底から燃え盛る君の純然たる己に火をつけ、この偽りの空を、ああ、容易の名において約束しよう。持っていけ、私が背負ってきた全てを燃え続けろ。私たちの炎が消えぬ限り、火を追う旅は終わることはない。ソに屈するな。受け取ってくれ、開拓者。この血が黄金のごとく永遠に輝きを失わんこと。さよならだ、開拓者。 救世主の信託は僕にとってもう何の意味もない。だから混沌を背負う者カスライナ、それは一個人の名じゃなく、君がこれから書き記す女児誌の中で僕の代わりにその名が君のそばにいてくれることを願っているよ。
何度も何度も今回があなたにとって何度目の幕引きかを教える気は。
覚えていないのなら僕が教えてやろう。3000。
ああ、ちょうど完全数になりましたね。どの道定められた結末をたどるのなら、かつてのどの輪、それはつまり無数の輪廻を超えてきたあなたの意志に。
ひびだって。いや、ただがっかりしただけさ。僕はだから同じ話ばかり繰り返すその退屈なやり口には、お前には過去の僕を説得して望む未来を手に入れる機会を教えてくれないか、ルクルー。
大変遺憾ながらこれは公正なルールに基づくゲームではありません。一方であなたはこの檻から出られません。私は最早期の開花を奏でられるのですよ。ファイノン殿、
お前の無能さには失望してるけど、よく考えてみろ。この物語の中で束縛されている囚人は誰だ。くだらない。確かにお前は間違っていないよ。なぜかわかるか。お前は神の奴隷であり僕の囚人でもあるからだ。もっとはっきり言ってやる。
無意味なこ
ああ、そんなことは分かっているさ。ただ神に壊滅の創造主よ、よく聞け。これがお前に見捨てられた全ての造物からの叫びだ。10回目の輪廻、僕は全てのタイタンの心臓にヘリオスを突き刺した。黄金の血が指を伝って滴り落ち、進化1万回目の輪廻、かつての仲間たちは全て仇となった。
Oh, there. How's it going?
終わりのない殺戮を続く10万回目の輪廻、壊滅はとうに燃え盛る太陽となり、この脆い器の中でくすぶっていた。そして理性は輪廻の始まりとともに燃え尽きてしまったけど、それでもボロボロになった肉体を引きずりながら歩み、そして2357万回目の輪廻で。
Nah, I'm waiting for Saber. Also, I haven't been too impressed by his playstyle. Like, I kind of need more physical damage dealers. Like, all the physical damage dealers, like, there was Yoon Lee, but I really don't like the counter. I don't like countering. And then then there was Argenti, but he's a guy, so I don't want him. And same for Boot Hell. And then, of course, now there's another destruction character, and it's another guy, so it's like crap. Or another physical character. Sorry, no, I didn't mean destruction. I meant physical damage dealers. And of course, it's a guy, so I'm like, oh fuck. So my physical teams are the weakest. I think I have Clara, but she's not super great. And like Yun Li is a better version of her, but I just don't like the counter stuff, because like countering is super weird. And even Final has some of that. Not really. I mean, what's the point of having a bunch of dudes? I'd rather have hot girls. But I say that, but like I did get Anoxa, so it's not like I'm like 100% against them. If he had enough utility, that would be fine. Boot Hill, I was just like, well, he's a hunt character, and I don't like hunt. Were always kind of hit and miss, because usually they take a shitload of skill points, and then just a single target damage is not super great. And Argenti was good. Yeah, I saw that, and it's like, okay, you can take damage. But the sucky thing is, when you go into burst mode, it's just him, which I guess helps for his counters, because if he's the only target, then that's fine. But, like... And I assume that any buff you give him lasts the entire duration of his ultimate, because usually the buffs are determined by Well, some buffs are determined by... Yeah. Some buffs are determined by... Some buffs leave you when the first to buff you turn comes up. But some buffs are turn-based, so it's like, I'm curious if a 2-turn buff, does that last 2 of Finon's ultimate turns, or is an ultimate turn like outside of that? Because then there are other buffs like Ron Mays, for example. Her buff will stay active as long as until it runs out when her turn comes up. So it's essentially permanent as long as her turn never comes up. So that would work well with him. Same for with Robin as well. Robin's buffs, as long as you can get her buff up and her ultimate, and then you can do Finon's ultimate, then every single one of his hits is going to get super buffed by her and then do extra damage because of her too. But if it's like something like, oh, I'm going to give you an attack buff for 2 turns, like, does he keep that attack buff for 2 turns forever? Because 2 turns is 2 turns. So unless his speed is ramped up so high, yeah. Either way, I'd have to tell. So it's that kind of thing, and I just don't like him. Like, I've used him in battle. Like, obviously, as part of the story, you're forced to use him a bunch of times, and it's like it's not super impressive. Like, the damage doesn't seem amazing. Now, I guess some of these fights are just like solo, so he's not getting buffed. Oh, okay. I mean, if it works for Bronya, then I guess his ultimate turns act outside the normal turn framework. Or maybe when they say it lasts for 1 turn, they just mean until... No, because, like, it was this other weird thing, because, like, Sparkle's things, like, Sparkle's buff, they say it's better to use at the start of someone else's turn. So if Sparkle has her ultimate up, you wait until it's your turn, and then you use Sparkle's buff, because you'll get it for that action, but then you'll also get it for an additional 2 actions. Like, it only counts down when your turn comes up. So if your turn is already up, you can get that buff for an additional, like, 2 or 3 turns. I forget how long it lasted. But I think Bronya's works the same way. But it's hard to say. Yeah, so, I mean, if his burst acts outside the turn order, then that's fine. Like, that's pretty good. It's pretty powerful. And so, like, they've been forcing us to use him, and he's mostly gone into fights solo. Although there was, I think, a trial. I did the trial run with him, and even the trial run with him wasn't like super impressive. Like, they gave us like Sunday. Yeah, I think for his trial run they gave us Sunday. I think it was Sunday, Hyacinth, and Tribby, I think. And the damage from it wasn't super great. Like, sure, it was doing damage, but it wasn't, like, amazing. Oh, yeah. So they got the Sparkle and Sunday buff. But the damage wasn't super amazing. Like, you were given a bunch of enemies, and you didn't, like, instantly wipe them out. Like, Acheron wipes them out. So, it just didn't feel super powerful. Either way, I wasn't, like, super interested in it in the first place. Plus, it's just a matter of, I'm more interested in Saber. So and in fact, if I could have pulled Saber immediately, I would have done already. But the Fate collab is only starting next weekend or something like that, like the 10th or 11th. Or no, I think it's like 6 days and 22 hours. So I guess next Friday, it should be live. And so because I want to get Saber, I'm not going to get Final.
今一つの太陽が破滅へと向かい、それは僕。
His animations look super cool, though. Yeah, so we get Archer for free. So we get Archer the character for free. But the idea is that as long as you do 200 pulls, you get his light cone for free as well. For quote-unquote free as well. So if you were already going to put 200 pulls in, great, you get a free light cone. If you were not going to pull off for Finon and you were not going to pull for Saber, and you were just... none of the limited character banners like seemed too appealing for you, then you'd have to you'll still have to spend money to pull enough limited stuff to get his light cone for free. But that's fine for me, because I wanted to get Saber, and obviously if I'm going to get Saber, I want her light cone. So the odds are I'll probably get pretty close. But it is interesting, it's 200. Whereas, like, even if you hard pity both, assuming you win the 50-50s or 75-25s, it'll be 180 pulls. So, like, on average, I guess some people will have to pull 200 because there's going to be the people who miss their 50-50s, there's going to be people who miss their 75-25s. I'm not sure about that. I would assume so, because I believe the duration of the event was until August 11th. So it seems like it's going to be, the Fate collab thing is going to be for a total of, I would assume it's for the entirety of the duration. As long as Saber's banner's up, I assume that Light Cone banner for Archer will also be up. So you have this half and presumably the next half. Obviously, we won't like 100% know, but we'll see. I'm pretty sure that it'll count for both banners. So if you don't like Finon and you don't like any of the other limited characters and you don't give a shit about Saber, then you could wait for the second half and see who pops up there and pull for them if you want. But I mean, I'll probably get screwed and have to pull 200 pulls anyway just to get Saber and her weapon. Because I want to make sure I get Saber and her weapon, because I assume that once they're no longer available, like once the collab's over, like it's gone for good. And I don't think they're ever going to do a repeat. It just seems very unlikely. Because like MiHoYo has a history of that as well. Like for Honkai Impact 3rd, they did an Evangelion collab, and it was like for a month, like a few years ago, and that was it. Like it's been years, they've never done it again. Because it just involves like doing new licensing. You'd have to like renew the license, and they just don't want to do that. So I doubt that this will be your only chance to get them, which I imagine is going to really light. Yeah, it's going to really light the fire under people's butts, because what if the constellations are super good? If the constellations are insanely good, you're definitely going to get a bunch of people who are going to pull. And I want to get Saber and her weapon at the very least, so that she's playable, and she's the best form she can be. But like, what if the constellations are super good? Like, what if it's something really fucking amazing, or like her C2? Because like, there's some characters where like you kind of want to get her C1 or C2 just because of the super buff. And like, I didn't get Cypher's C1. Like, Cypher's C1 boosts her follow-up attack damage by a lot, which is kind of cool. But like, I actually kind of like Cypher for her ability to inflict a lot of status ailments. So it works really well with Acheron. So I kind of made my Acheron team, Acheron, Cypher. I swapped to Aventurine. I was using Fushuan, but I realized Aventurine's probably better because he actually does inflict a debuff vulnerability when he does his follow-up attack, which triggers Acheron. And I also put Silverwolf. And Silverwolf was always there because she was always kind of fast. And no matter what she did, it would always do a debuff. And then, of course, she got buffed. So now her burst, her ultimate, debuffs everyone, which makes Acheron even stronger. So I've been having, it's been relatively fine. Although I did see, I think it's Hycelin's. Hycelin seems to be like a dot character. And that is kind of the shitty thing, is that Cypher and Silverwolf, while they apply debuffs, they don't apply dots. And I mean, I guess there haven't really been that many good dot characters. Like, really, the only dot characters are, the only dot 5-stars are Black Swan and Casca. And like, that's it. Like, there's a few other 4-stars. Sure, you have you have Gonaifen, you have Guinevere, and Sampo, and they're fine. But it'd be nice if we had more characters that could actually apply like dots, because like we get so many. Either one, not. I mean, technically, yes, kinda. Like it doesn't matter if it's a dot or a debuff. Like, it technically helps her more because it does apply damage in and of itself, but beyond that, no. Like, all Acheron needs is any debuff at all from anything. And it's only one per turn as well. So it doesn't matter if you can attack multiple enemies. Attacking multiple enemies with a debuff just gives her one little stack. So, like, there's no point in prioritizing single target versus multi-target. Like, Sanpo doesn't really matter. He does his skill. He still only gives one stack for Acheron. And the unfortunate thing is, if you're a dot character, what you really want to do is you want to stack attack. So you do damage, and your dots do damage. Whereas characters, like Nihility characters like Silver Wolf and Cypher, they don't give a shit about... Well, I mean, they kind of care about attack a little bit. Yeah, sure, they do a little more personal damage. But both of them, you just want to stack fuckloads of speed on them so that they go all the time. So, and the reason why you want them to go all the time is because they can now makes them even more SP positive, so that Acheron can always do her skill, which gives her a bunch of stacks, and every single one of their attacks will also... The more frequently they can attack, the more frequently Acheron gets points back. So the fact that they're not doing dots means they don't have to worry too much about their attack damage, and you can stack them as speed. And then, of course, Cypher has so many other buffs and things that improve, that make her so based on speed. So, like, Cypher, you just want to stack speed anyway, because that's her kit. And then Silver Wolf, you just want to give speed so that she just attacks as frequently as possible, so that she can constantly be applying these debuffs to characters, simply because you want to... If they have more debuffs on them, they take more damage, most likely, or do less damage as well. And then, it just acts as an added little bonus for Acheron. And like Silver Wolf, like everything she does applies a dot. Skill, basic attack, ultimate, all of them apply, not a dot, sorry, a debuff. So everything that Silver Wolf does gives a stack to Acheron. So you, like, most people were building their Silver Wolves anyway with like 160 speed regardless. Which is like, oh, okay. And that's the kind of point. Whereas like dot characters, because they are doing damage through their dots, they have to actually stack attack. So they might still have speed boots, but like you're not gonna have crit rate, crit damage chest. You're gonna have like attack percent, so that you can maximize your dot damage. So they're just less likely to be going as fast as characters like Cypher or Silver Wolf, because like if you make them that fast, then they just won't be. Their actual damage won't be as good because you would have had to siphon attack stats into speed. And then, of course, the fact that, like, if they are attackers, like, Kefka, so Black Swan are not super SP positive. Like, I think their basic attacks do apply a debuff. I think an actual dot as well. Their debuff is a dot. But, like, they both really want to use their skill. Like, that's not Kefka. What was your name? Shit. It's not Chaska either, because that's Genshin. Kefka is Final Fantasy 16, so that's not... Or Final Fantasy 6, so that's not it either. Fuck, what was her name? Anyway. What's her name? But yeah, like, she wants to use her skill because it applies a dot, and now it triggers the dots now from her entire skill set. Like, every target hit by her skill gets their dot triggered. And then for Black Swan, you want to do her skill as much as possible because her skill applies a defense down, I think on just the primary target, but either way, it's like, it's good to use, and if you're killing enemies fast enough, you're going to want to apply that more than once. So, like, Black Swan's not super SP positive. A little more so than Chaska, or... but, yeah, it's just... Dot teams are kind of in a rough state, because, like I was using Gwenaifen for her because she's kind of SP positive. Like, sure, you can do her skill, which is more useful, but, like, she still applies a dot when using her basic attack. But even still, you're just, like, you're so constantly low on skills, because, like, all the dot teams kind of really need to do skills to do their most damage. Like, Sampo, yes, does technically a dot on a single basic attack. But you really want to get a skill out because he will, put multiple stacks of wind shear on targets as his skill bounces between targets. So it's kind of tough to manage dot teams, but there's so many like simulated universes that are like, yeah, here's dots, like here's scepters that are triggered on dots, here's all this other stuff about dots, and it's like, yeah, there's so many simulated universe like iterations that like give you buffs for dots, but like there's just not that many characters that actually use dots. Like it's just like, yeah, just Jessica, not Chaska, but it's Kef, whatever her name is, pink-haired girl, the Stellaron Hunter mother. It's just her, Black Swan, Gwenhyfen, and Sampo are like realistically the only dot character. Kafka. Oh, that's how I was off. I was thinking Kefka from Final Fantasy VI, but I was actually closest with that. It was just Kafka. Okay. That's where I was getting. It was just too close to that villain's name. But yeah, it's just those four are pretty much it. Like those are your only dot characters, and like we just basically since Black Swan, we haven't gotten a new one at all. Every single Nihility character that we've gotten afterwards are just about applying debuffs and not actual dots, which was fine because our dots were kind of in a rough state already, and dots were kind of shit regardless. Oh, hey, some Mac. But now, I mean, now they buffed Kafka as well. So they provide Kafka with a bunch of buffs. And, like, her buffs are pretty insane, too. Like, if you can get an effect hit rate above a certain percentage, it just radically, it gives you a 100% attack bonus. Like, that's really, really good. Is that Nanook shadow in the background? Oh, there it is. Oh, is that Iron Tome? Or Iron Tomb?
Glass that shattered, reaching through the darkness, voices trailing fires, echo of desires, a world of silence, sounds of desperate, phantoms in the shadow, soft waiting. Tear it down, embrace the detonation, burn it all, craving our damn creation, breaking a chain of reaching for you. No
Just gonna look down at it. Oh, I thought his eye was gonna like move to look at his wound or something, and then like look back. And then like, oh, I see, it's the little child. I think they're gonna meet us, right? Like, are we gonna appear at the bottom or something? Gonna catch him?
僕の願いみんなの願いを叶えることだよ。それができないなら明日に託すよ。
あなたは怒りを抱いている。全てを破
That
壊
was
する
pretty
こ
cool.
とを渇望し、
So you skipped that by accident. Man, that's gotta be rough to accidentally skip that. That was a pretty epic
別の運命へ
fight.
と足を踏み入れた。それはあまたの運命の終わりに生まれ、新たな運命の可能性
You know what I really, really love? I would love if doing this quest makes the destruction path of the Trailblazer actually good. Like, wouldn't it be cool? Is like at the end of this, like it revamps our destruction path. Like our destruction path looks even better. Like we get a super bat, or like we get a super bat, and now we have some super destruction wings or something as well. And like our attacks don't like suck, because like destruction Trailblazer was such trash, where it was just like, oh yeah, you can hit them with a single target, or spend a skill point to get 3 targets. Nice. Like, and then your burst, like the only thing about your burst is you can do a single target or triple target. It's like, okay, but like that's it. It's just damage, and it's not really that much damage in the first place. Oh yeah, that's what I was thinking. Because like obviously there's all this like destruction shit. Like it'd be interesting if they just like how Finon got his like little like destruction form and stuff. It'd be cool if like they gave like as part of this like. Because we like maybe we take some core flames for us, or like in the fixing of this, it revamps our destruction. Or maybe that's gonna be like the end of the path, right? Like maybe the end after like becoming all other paths, we return and have to fight Nanook, and in the fighting off of Nanook, our destruction form becomes like insanely good. See, it's like, yeah, we're a Pathfinder of Destruction.
再び動き始めたのだから。しかし、一度回り始めた運命にとって、その存在は変数以外の何者でもない。あるいは、舞台に上がる時が来たのかもしれない。安心して育つといい。眉を破り、羽ばたくその日まで。
Because I mean, they kind of foreshadowed our importance later. It was always Elio. Elio was always talking about how the Stellar Hunters had to do all this shit to essentially ingratiate themselves to us. Yeah. Like Elio was always saying our purpose, like did something, and like there was going to be some fight in the future that they were going to be a part of, and if they help us. Yeah, and I thought they said that it was against Nanook as well. Like, I don't know if they mean, like, literally or just, like, against his forces or something. So it's like, could it be that, like, it'd be nice if they revamped Destruction now, but, like, I'm fine if they, like, want to make it, like, super epic and super cool. Because basically, since... actually, it does seem like with every power the Trailblazer gets, it's better. So, like, Destruction was trash, and Preservation was better. And then they made Imaginary, and Imaginary Harmony. Harmony was like shitloads better, and it's really useful. And now you have Remembrance, and you could argue that yeah, Harmony is kind of a little more useful because it enables the super break teams, whereas Remembrance doesn't really help too much. Like it's still a really useful power, and is still useful in its own right. But like they've been progressively being useful and helpful. And so I'm fine with them like doing other paths to like branch out and stuff like that, but it would really be nice if like they return to the destruction path and And I thought this would be a good time because obviously, if we're helping Finon like with his destruction shit, maybe yeah, it's a decent support, but it's not as like revolutionary as Harmony. Harmony like makes like Harmony makes break teams really really good because it enables like super break, which not all people have, and so like there are some characters that have their own method of triggering super break, which is fine, but like there's a lot that don't, and so like any sort of like break effect teams having Harmony Trailblazer is just really really helpful, and it's a ridiculously powerful buff. And I say the Remembrance is not bad at all. I think the person I think the person she buffs can, but like it's only buffing one person. But to be fair, like a lot of teams do focus on like one thing doing damage, and I think like Rappa as well. Rappa's burst does super break damage. So there are characters that can do it, and there are characters that can enable it. But like with the Harmony Trailblazer, it's like everyone in the party can now do super break damage. So if you have a bunch of characters that have stacked break effects, like so Harmony Trailblazer with like Gallagher, for instance. Well, Gallagher has you want to stack super break, you want to stack break effect on him. So now even his normal basic attacks and like ultimate and skill, well not skill, because skill is just a heal. His basic attack and ultimate do shitloads of damage with Harmony Trailblazer because you've stacked him shitloads of break effect, which ramp up his super break damage as well. So it's definitely more revolutionary than Remembrance, but Remembrance is really, really useful because it's just generically good for everything, right? It provides a buff, it does turn advancement, it's SP positive, so it's very useful. But you could argue that Harmony was Harmony is less useful overall, but very useful in break effect teams. Whereas Remembrance is just more useful overall, even for break effect teams. So, but just not as revolutionary as Harmony. So I'm fine with them like wanting to be like, hey, cool, you're gonna learn other paths as well, and maybe have Destruction be the final one. But it is kind of sad that the state Destruction. I mean, Destruction was always bad. Even back then, even at the start of the game, Destruction Trailblazer was kind of shit. So the second you got Preservation one, you're like, oh, thank God, something that actually has some use. Even if Preservation these days isn't nearly as good. But back in the day, you had very little options for Preservation, so those little bit of shields were pretty helpful. To tease. Oh, the book? I mean, I assume the book is still there. I assume after this, if I go back into my menu, the book will still be there in its form. When I'm in Ampharos itself, I assume it's going to still look like the book. Oh, I see. So that thing he was fighting was probably Iron Tomb then. That white thing that slashed him up and shit. That was probably White Tomb. Oh, I see. So Zagreus probably, or maybe Cypher. So actually, I guess. Well, actually, I guess. Yeah, I was gonna say it couldn't be Cypher because Cypher's Nihility class, but it's slightly different because there's the path they actually follow, uh, like intellectually, and then there's like actual like attack patterns, which don't always have to line up. Because like Sparkle, as an example, is Harmony, but she's obviously following the path of Elation as well. So like the paths are like what your personality is like, which differs from your actual attack patterns. Oh, actually, yeah, maybe you are right. It's like these. Actually, no, I think I had more. So there were some that I had. Okay, so I assume Chaos 666 is Ligus, and so even is that Psi? Is that the Greek symbol for Psi? Or I can't. Or is it lowercase? Is it lowercase O for Omega? Because that obviously kind of looks like Omega, kind of. But obviously, well, 13 doesn't really look like Omega. That's interesting. So you would always assume that even at the first cycle, they already knew who's going to be the next Lord Ravager. I thought the whole point of the thing was as a cocoon for the Lord Ravager. I thought even like at the start, they always knew who the Lord Ravager was, and they were always just building it and like hatching it essentially. But it seems like they had to go through a few cycles before they even had selected one. And even then, they didn't have gold blood until that point or after that point. So, unless of course maybe the cycles here aren't the same cycles that we like. There was the iterative cycles that Phynon was going through. Maybe these were cycles that the actually let me start at the beginning. Yeah. Wait, what? The scepter is the scepter. The scepter itself was named the Lord Ravager? Oh. Wait, what? But then how is it only selected as Lord Ravager after the 50,000th iteration? If it obviously was selected way back when. I do find it weird though, because like so, Iron Tube Codename was proposed by the IPC. So the IPC is aware that the scepter exists and that it or oh no, I guess they don't know where it is. I guess iron it's diffusing its destruction equation, and so that phenomena has been recognized by the IPC, but it doesn't necessarily mean they know where it's originating from and or how to stop it. Okay, 1 second. I need to go to the bathroom. Be right back. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Also, it was Ligus who fucked around. So, like, where did Ligus come from? I always kind of thought Ligus was part of it from the beginning, but it seems like Ligus was the one who moved it from erudition to destruction. Lord of Silence, what's that? Oh, he is Lord of Silence knows himself, or itself. Interesting, yeah. Number 4. So number 4, the genius number 4. Polka. Was Polka the one who went crazy and killed everybody? Or like, was that killing all the geniuses? I'll really go back and double check that. Like, I knew one of them did. I just forget which one. And we haven't like really. I think it was. Because the name sounds kind of familiar. And the only names that really sound familiar are the ones that we've like seen multiple times or interacted with multiple times. So obviously, Herta, Skrulum, Ron May, and then that other dude, the nice guy, who has another little avatar in the simulated universe. I forget his name. I think his name is an H, like Henry or something like that, or I forget what it was. But Polka, I think the name sounds familiar enough, which I think we probably has to be the murderer one. Oh, I see. So the cycles to destruction are after all this stuff. Because they were saying, oh, after this amount of time, we have the right, we've determined what the Lord Ravager is. So there were cycles before, because obviously these are all conducted using inorganic life. So the Phynon and all his group could only have existed once they started experimenting with organic life. No, like Iron Tomb is the Lord Ravager. Now, I think that what they're trying to do is they were trying to make Phynon into the Lord Ravager, but basically be like, you're going to be like the pure distillation of destruction. But I think in a later file, actually even in the earlier files right here, it's that. It was the scepter itself. It blah blah glimpse blah blah. It transcended and became the Lord Ravager Iron Tongue, and it seemed like that this dude, and for a long process, ascended from the scepter. So the scepter itself is Iron Tomb, and it seems like, but the reason the code name itself was given by the IPC, but it only seems to be given that code name not because they actually ever met the scepter, but as you can see, Iron Tomb in the cosmos is not a single entity, but a copy of the destruction equation diffused by the scepter. So Scepter found an equation of destruction, which is then like blasting out into the universe, and that phenomena seems to be what's called Iron Tome, but realistically, it's actually from him, and the Scepter itself should be the Lord Ravager. And I think they were using Phynon to essentially just like perfect the equation. So essentially, they were using Phynon to perfect the equation of destruction, which they would then use and diffuse that perfected equation out as well. So by constantly rebelling and all that shit, it was trying to stop. It was preventing. I don't know. It's kind of weird because obviously they already clearly say the Scepter is the Iron Tome, but Iron Tome is also trying to be born, as it were. But I think Iron Tome itself is the destruction equation, and the Scepter is trying to perfect it using Phynon as an organic, like, whatchamacallit. But even still, like, that didn't happen right away. But some of the terminology is kind of weird with it. We'll see when I get back to where I was before. Was it here? Was it here? No, not yet. Yeah, I think I was in the Aeronova form part where I noticed, like, oh yeah, at like the 50,000th cycle, we had determined, like, we had found the Lord Ravager, like we had determined the Lord Ravager, and I'm like, what? So, like, I thought you always were, but. And like when they're clearly saying, "Oh yeah, the Scepter is Lord Ravager," I'm like, "Well, not really." It's like, yeah, it seems like it's the equation itself, the destruction equation itself, that is the Lord Ravager, and it's being created and perfected by the Scepter, and it's using organic components as a way to perfect it. So even if Phynon like fell into destruction, like lost himself to destruction, it would just like take that distilled equation from him, and then that would be the Lord Ravager. Or maybe like the destruction. If Phynon finally gave into destruction, he would just be like destroyed by it himself. He would burn himself inside out and die, but they would extrapolate that equation from the whole entire process and be like, "Cool, that's the equation. Now let's put it in the speakers and blast it out to the universe." But we'll see. Like the second they jumped us way down, and the first thing I did was to start going in reverse, and I didn't realize this was actually in order, so I went to the very beginning. So they're assumingly expecting us to read in that red section, but I want to go through it chronologically first. Ah, so here it is. So yeah, I was right. So it's probably Chaos 666 is Lygus. So in the beginning, it made it seem like Lygus like showed up and then implanted the destruction. But it seems like when the Scepter was performing its experiments, one of the and while they were basically cannibalizing themselves for computational resources, one of the inorganic life forms killed an entity that was trying to take over, basically take over itself, right? They all had like a sense of self. So rather than just let itself be assimilated, it resisted and destroyed it, and that was the first element of destruction that was introduced in these organic experiments, which is what drew the eye of. So it's not that Lygus like showed up to the scepter and like, I'm just going to input destruction, ha 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 ha. No, it was part of the experiment where it just naturally emerged, and that's what made the scepter be regarded as the Lord Ravager. And then, of course, that destruction was what Oh, I see. Interesting. So this is how it became known as Iron Tomb, is that so the Scepter tried to basically create, based on its experiments, which included destruction, create a Ampharos out in a galaxy. Okay. I'm not sure how much a system hour is. How many hours is it? Let's see. So 2811 divided by 24 is 117 days. So if system hours equals Earth hours, then in 117 days, did they create a universe? Because they erased the equation. So did they just like put an equation in the universe, or did they put an actual, or maybe a society? I'm not sure. It's super vague. Like I'm not sure what phase one and for us, like, because they're erasing the equation, so they placed an equation there. But like, what does placing an equation there mean? Was there just one entity that represented the equation that went around and was killed 117 days later? But even still, it destroyed most of the system, most of the galaxy, and basically that whatever they implanted into that nebula was recognized by the IPC and given that code name. Okay. So yeah, I mean, it does back up the fact that it's not the scepter itself. It's not anything within the experiment. It is the equation of destruction that is being further refined by this experiment. Interesting. So they put the phase 2 equation after being refined by life, and it 31 world, and it took even longer. I assumed 9,000 hours is the amount of time it took to suppress all things. That's weird, though. It's like the equation's impact remains limited to inorganics, but they were doing organic experiments. Although maybe it's because they used what they got from the organic experiments to build upon the equation that was formed from their inorganic ones, and there wasn't enough intelligent life to make it worth. Interesting. So yeah. So basically, phase 2 is worse. But yeah, this is one of those things that makes it really confusing because it's like you're obviously you're putting the equation out into the universe, but what does that actually mean? It's not like you're putting like a literal an equation like on paper out. So the equation has to take the form of something because it seems to be interacting with the world. So is it taking the form of a human, or is it just a human that is a humanoid, or like, or is that how the equation only affected inorganic life? Is because they were like sending out a robot with the equation loaded in itself, and it was like propagating and fostering like destructive urges in a way that would like destroy society. So it seems like they got to like 28 million cycles already, and then went into a string of 33. So they spent more cycles in recursive failure than actual normal cycles. although I guess from this, it's like, well, the black tide is not physical, visual effects within the simulator of the destruction equation infection. So the destruction equation, I guess, could be the black tide, essentially. So what they're introducing is something akin to the black tide, but in reality. Something that just corrupts and infects and, like, spreads before finally being destroyed. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, I guess if that's just how they do it. I mean, I like the aspect of it, and you can still go back to the book. I think it's pretty cool the way they did this. Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny. So silly.
勝つのは誰だろうか。頭角を現してきた少女か、それとも百戦錬磨の覇者か。黒と白の軍団が戦場で相まみえ、
ストラテゴス
盤上で彼女は勝つ。勝つのは歯が落ち、今日人々は、そして勝つのは誰か。最早期旅立ちのその対局の幕切れについて、無敵の海よ人々。祈祷のヤーヌスの司祭は
大丈夫。
よくそうか。しかし
大丈夫。待ってて。
運命逃げる子だが、そして数度のし待つ。それはする。
起きて。
太古の混沌は暗く静筆であった。そして巨竜の胎児が大地から生まれる。だが巨竜は幼少期を暗黒、やがて地面。巨竜は孤独にあれ、その目はする海洋。目を開けてからというもの。それゆえ夢の中にはどれほど偉大なものなり。巨竜はそこには青い巨竜は巨竜。天を覆う。そこに刃が奏でる音。最後の悪獣は
僕の配下には英傑が海のごとく。セーレンス。
戦の黄金の血がろうそく。ただ歓喜の歌は長く続いた。歌声に伝説大地を、そして溢れんばか時が。人々はしかし宴会の あの日小さくも聖地を退路を失った。
もしあのカス
庭は少女は聞けば100代にわたる確執。
お嬢さん、
その言葉を聞いて少女はハッとした。
それでも私は頑張ります。
時が経ち、ただ依然少女はその後、
私
小さな庭の光は消え去り、木々や将は貴族のために槍を掲げ、貴族は将のために真摯に祈る。
もしあの
結果として予想していた死は訪れなかった。天空はほの暗く燃え続けていたが、
新婚の目は
天空の都市国家、その廃墟。少女、彼女は少女は
空はでも
その絵にはセネオスという名の少女が瞳に。しかしヒアンシーという名の少女は祖母の歌声を。
でも
違う。
その絵。しかしヒアンシーという名の少女は仲間の高らかな声や汚れを払った禁止が。
いいえ、空はすごく暗くて寒い。
記憶の採用でセネオスという名の少女が膝を抱え震えていた。
でしたら
今空となった少女はかつて空であった少女の手をつないだ。
あな
まばゆい光。しかし
なんとも不吉だね。
笑い、たとえ過去の話。
この自由気ままな性格もモーディスよ。けど僕が
と黎明のその瞳は空の。
想像してたんだ。
今の彼が剣だが少年の心。
お前から旧姓の理想を取ったら何も残らんのではないか。
彼は一瞬押し黙った。
僕自身の望むものが少
オンパロスにはその原型はそう。天賦は自分を模した化身を作り出すと命の息吹を与え黄金の血を授けた。以来最初の人間は。しかしそれは結局誰も気にもと。人々は彼も期待にまさにあの世を背負う。彼はその心の怖かったのだ。彼は愛恋の感情を。彼は己の務めを果たし人々は彼の。だが反問することに耐えられなくなった男は再び旅に出た。彼は風の歌がそうだ。それは流れ落ちることのない涙のようだった。彼は何かを捨てる決断が早い。なぜならば
お前は苦しんでいる。
彼は笑みをこの無名の
もしかして
背負うものが多いほついには誰もいない抑えきれ
僕はこの
こぼれ落ちようとする涙は彼無か自分一陣の風が吹き抜け彼の足跡を全て消していく。それらは怒りに任せ一歩ずつ踏みつけた足跡だった。あの謙虚な少年は炎と共に昨日へと消えてしまったのだ。炎をまとっ怒りと彼の友人はしかし男
気をつけなさい。
彼の先生
そしてその2
ではいやしかし今はその彼は怒りに身を任せ運命に彼の悲しみはしかしやがて男が感じたする真相など
もう本罪悪に向かって雄たけびを上げ共に
終わりのないそのだが彼が両目を開けば怒りの炎が影を落とす。彼はしかしそれらの正体は激しい憎しみだった。それはしかし
彼らは技術の火種はもうすぐそこにある。どう今
予言はタイタン。少女は歯を見せて
私は
家臣からタイタンのささやきが聞こえた。タイタンは彼女は口を尖らせ少女
敗北し
遠いどこそれは
宝を取っ
奥そのようなその声と一陣の風神宮の神はただある盗賊はいく
最初
世の人300人の
技術の
これが
技術の
なぜタイタンが少女
3つ白昼は
黎明の
嘘が
属性のそれ
8つ目の理由なんて
少女しかし日和の功労彼女は飛翔する見るもの
嘘は嘘。
暗い空のそれはまるで禁止 起きて。ねえ、起きてたら。やっと起きて。私たち、もう少しで逆流する。これからあなたを、歳月の始まりに送るわね。なんと、私、記憶、あれだけたくさんの断片を見たからか、私の過去も、それともずっと前から分かってた？ちっとも意外じゃなかったでしょ？私って純粋だから、どんな姿になっても素直なことしか言わないもの。でも最後にこのことを思い出せて安心して。本当にお別れする。この輪廻3355万336回目の日を。そうすればあなたは全ての過去を携えた私の使命もここだって。3000万人以上のキュレネがいたのに。だから次の輪廻でも、そして次の次も、次のちゃんと言えた。私たちここまでさ。私未来のキュレネを見つけて一緒にまた旅に出て言わね。そろそろ旅立ちの時間ね、相棒。未来の歳月が。さあ次のページを開いて。あなたのためにあるページを。これは運命の出会い？それとも久しぶりかしら。
Wait, what? That's it? That's where it ends? I mean, cool. Seriously though? Like, oh, it's a nymph. So there's even nymphs here. Yeah, it's a little too much of a cliffhanger. It feels a lot shorter. Because, like, I was surprised in the opposite direction for the previous patch, where, like, you're going in, and you're thinking, oh, okay, fighting Aquila, the demigod, the sky demigod, like, that's going to be the end. It's going to be that big, it's going to be a huge epic boss fight, and then that's the end of the patch. But then it just kept on going. I'm like, what? It just keeps on going? Like, when's this actually going to end? And then you like go into the broken world and the sky's broken and all that shit. You're like, oh man, she just keeps on going. This one kind of, I don't know, like, I guess it kind of sucks that we don't have like any big endgame boss. I mean, the cutscene was pretty cool, like the Finon's fight against, I guess, I don't know, I guess that thing he fought wasn't Iron Tomb itself. I mean, it could have been, I guess. It could have been the digital manifestation of the equation itself. But yeah, like, and they did say that Finon was absorbed by Iron Tomb, so it's like, I guess maybe the equation, I don't know. Was the equation perfected? Like, we don't know. Like, he said it was absorbed by it, but like, maybe because he fought tooth and nail, he wasn't able to absorb it in a perfect form. So it still needs more iterations. But yeah, ending it like this is a little disappointing. Especially because like they leave you with that lore bomb, right? So they're like, oh cool, like here's like that book you were reading was actually just like here's the here's the computer panel that you were like pulling that data from. I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool. And then I thought like it would continue with that. Like we'd be in between like we'd be out we'd be out of the simulation, maybe like looking at it from the outside, or like we do some more stuff, right? Like you dump all this new lore on us and then just be like, oh yeah, by the way, that was it. So, I mean, it definitely did drop a ton of lore where you're like, oh, okay, so we basically got the entire history of the scepter, and even like, and like all the experiments and all that shit. So that was really cool. It's good to know all that stuff. But like, the problem is we still don't have really a frame of reference or any real context of what that actually means. You know, like what is the equation? Did did they win in the end? Like they did say that he absorbed like Phynon was absorbed into the Iron Tomb. So like wasn't that the thing we were trying to avoid? Avoid them using Phynon to like perfect the equation? Or was it actually prevented? Like was him fighting back and like burning out his life force, was that like stopping destruction in a way? Or did did they just need any part of him, and that would be all they need? So that's kind of vague. I'm actually surprised this is an actual zone now with actual bits and bobs. How are there 17 chests in such a tiny little small? Oh wait, yeah. I forgot there's all this shit too. Is there anything else introduced? Anything else, right? Just this zone. Oh, I see. We're over here. Interesting. I'll almost pick this up since it's around here. Can I keep talking to her? I can. It's a seal! So this is where they came from. Oh, I see. I bet I have to find another seal somewhere in this nymph. Considering how small this place is, I assume there's only going to be 10. I mean, it's not bad, but yeah, it does feel like pretty short. Because like even the last patch, it was like we had to go. What was it? We had to go. We had to explore this entire place. Like we did a bunch of stuff in Dawn Cloud. Like I think, what was Dawn Cloud the patch before? But like I thought it was like yeah, they introduced Dawn Cloud. They introduced this whole place, and this place is fucking huge. We fight Aquila, and then we did like a bunch of other shit. And like they introduced a bunch like the Fallen Okema and I think another Fallen place. Oh yeah, the Fallen Dawn Cloud. So it's like I mean, and to be fair, like yeah, they really didn't really like break the bank making those areas. Wait. What? What's this crystal, though? There should be a remembrance crystal somewhere. What's the icon on the map represent? Is it this guy? Or is there a...
このお花、あなたにあげるわ。花っていうのは女の子の真心みたいなものなの。だから優しく大切にしてね。
And March too. Like, we don't really know what the hell is happening with March. So yeah, basically it's just like I mean, technically last patch also ended with a bunch of cliffhangers too. It's like we had Skrullum and Herta show up and try to like push their way in, and Lygus popped up and said, "Fuck off! No, go away." So like there were still cliffhangers, but like the problem here is it just feels like less satisfying, because like a huge portion of this thing, yeah. She went. I mean, we assumed she did. Like she said she was going to. So like a huge thing was like just us being Finon. It was like, okay, you're Finon. Go through these things, and it was pretty boring. It's like, look, use your skill, just kill all these things, go through this stuff, and then do all these recursions. And it was like just a bunch of like dumping, like a big, huge exposition dump, which really like not much actually happened. Like it was just like, okay, I'm going to do the same thing over and over and over again, and like there was no climactic fight. I mean, well, technically there was, but in a cutscene, it was just like, yeah, Finon fighting that dude in that fight, and it was like, sure. And like I did use Finon to fight the other, like fight Aquila and Maide, and it's like, yeah, sure, that happened, but like you're in a scripted, like can't lose fight, so it's nothing like super crazy, nothing super interesting. And then after all of that, they're just like, okay, you're done. Like after revealing all these things and all these secrets, like you can leave now. And so, I mean, maybe talking to her will be more interesting. But yeah, like they had the whole thing with March. Like March was in the files as well. Like they even allude to like lots of missing portions of the logs within the Scepter's files. So it's like, what's happening with the Scepter? What's happening with Iron Tomb? Did it become the perfect equation? What the fuck does an equation even mean? Like, is it just like an equation in a robot? Like, is it just basically a like an AI system essentially? Is it basically just is it creating an artificial intelligence based on this equation of destruction? Like, it was always kind of vague, because like there was always like Herta's equation. Like Herta made the equation for something or other, like imaginary energy or something. So like they've always talked about equations as if they were also some sort of like physical thing. So it hasn't ever been super clear what it means. I mean, we know it's bad, obviously. It's like, oh yeah, they were going to use this equation to like bring destruction to the universe, but like, what the fuck does that even mean? And it's like, it's also like, it's on the level of like, if you're just like producing this equation and like dispersing it around, like, how is it any different than propagation? Like, propagation seems to be doing the exact same shit. Except they're just, but like, with propagation, at least you understand, it's like, yes, it's the swarm. It's these actual physical creatures that are just continuously propagating and destroying everything around them. Whereas, like, this equation, it's like, it seems like they bring something... It seems like there's some physical manifestation of it. Because, like, oh, phase 1, the physical manifestation of this thing was brought into a universe, and then 117 days later, it was destroyed. But even then, it was able to wipe out 97% of that of that nebula. And then they said they did it again, and they put it in like 31 worlds, and it's like, so presumably it had to have been like 31 different iterations of the equation, which took even longer to be destroyed and defeated. but then it doesn't really tell us what it is. Like they kind of make it allude. It's like, oh, it's the black tide. Like, oh, the black tide seems to be like the black tide was like corroding things, and the black tide was a manifestation of destruction. So is it like that? Is it just like, is it not a physical entity, but more like a impermeable corruption? You're just like introducing a metaphysical thing that just spreads out and corrupts and destroys everything it touches. Kind of like a plague, but like, you know, a metaphysical plague to a degree. Like, isn't that what it kind of is? So it's almost to the degree I kind of want them to succeed. I'd like to succeed their equation of destruction, because then in its completed state, we'd at least see what it is. Like, we'd see it go do something. We'd see evidence of its destruction and how it implements it, and then be like, oh, that's what you meant by equation of destruction. You meant this thing, or, you know, phenomena type thing. Yeah, and then I think, I mean, it's, I think putting that whole computer dump at the end was good, because putting it before the big cutscene, it would have just like ruined the momentum of that cutscene, the Finon fight, and the momentum of the story they were trying to tell. So it's good to place it there where there was some relaxing stuff. But honestly, what they should have done is they should start building again. They should start being like, they should have had us meet Cyrene, and then she should have started building up hype for the next patch. So it should be like, oh hey, you're in this place. Now let's now we still have a few more quests where we're gonna like talk about what we're gonna do next, and like kind of recap and continue with what's happened, and then you can stop at that point, right? Because the problem is, it's like you had momentum building, and then there was the Finon fight, and then you released all the lore, and it's like boom, all momentum is gone now, and you just like leave us in that crater of momentum. And it's like, no, you got to start building momentum again first before you stop the interlude. I thought they were going to give us the opportunity to select what pose we did. Like, give us a pose you want, and then we get to choose some funny ones. But I guess not. But yeah, and the tough thing with the March thing is that it basically led nowhere. Like, the only purpose, honestly, at this point, the only purpose of March would just be to introduce Cyrene. It's supposed to be like, look, there's Cyrene. She's trapped. No, we're on a hill. You can kind of see from the background. We're on a hill, and the camera's up above our shoulders, so she's shorter than she is, but she is like child size. Like, she's like at least like 2 feet shorter than Finon anyway. But then the angle just it makes her look even smaller. But yeah, I mean, that was the kind of thing, is like March, her only purpose was just to meet with Cyrene and have that little conversation, and so we know, oh, Cyrene's trapped in this weird realm. But honestly, you could have just not had that. Like, you could have had that in the next patch, right? I mean, I guess it's a little more suspense, like, oh, what happened to March? But realistically, it's like she walked through the door, and then presumably what's going to happen, she walks through the door and she's going to pop out here with us. I mean, what I really think is going to happen is she's probably going to pop out at an interesting moment, maybe when we're going to be attacked by Iron Tomb or something, and then March is going to pop out and save us or something. and I assume she's gonna have some sort. Like, she has to get a new form. She has to get a new power, which is kind of crazy because like March seems to be like they're really ramping up March to getting another power. So maybe March is going to get a remembrance power as well. So she'll have preservation, um, hunt, and then remembrance. So that'll be interesting. But like they're really ramping up to something like that because it's like. But even in the computer archives, like they mentioned March, and like all her like shit was corrupted. So it's like what the fuck is she? She said she did get her memories back. She said that like oh you mean March? Oh yeah, yeah. Well, kind. I mean, it wasn't Cyrene who said that. It was all the people trying to trick her to go through the door. Be like, yeah, all your memories are here and solve everything. So that does beg the question of like what she is. Is March? So March is probably not Cyrene, but it's probably also not Cyrene's like child or something because like Cyrene's always been this like childlike body, which would be weird in and of itself. So you would think it'd be like maybe March escaped from Ampharos, like maybe in one of the earlier iterations of the cycles, maybe she's like the crystallized knowledge of one of the cycles. Like maybe one of the cycles was like, we're gonna take all our knowledge and all of our goodness, and we're gonna like crystallize it and eject it from this planet in an attempt to like, you know, to save our civilization in some form. And that crystallization, became March, maybe. But like, it's like it's anybody's guess because like we have no fucking clue. I guess I can't talk to her in the same. Yeah, she doesn't have a little thingy on her. Oh, hey. Was that oh, and it's over here.
かわいいキメラちゃんね。
Hmm. I think that Guardian of the Wheatfield seems pretty cool, but this is the funny option. So I'm tempted to give it the funny option. Maybe, but if they actually refer to it by this name later, that would be cooler. Ah, fuck it. Let's go with funny option. Wait, what? Is that... Oh wait, it disappeared. So my choice did not matter at all. Okay, I was wondering if it feels like maybe I have to find another seal. That's it. I probably have to find another seal, and finding the seal. Oh, I have the yeah. I actually have the Trailblazer or the Harmony hat. Oh, do we not? Oh, no, we had the remembrance version of ourselves. Okay, yeah, it is Friday. So on Friday it goes live. Next Friday. That's fine. Ah, I see. Blah, 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 yeah. So I get some. Oh, yeah. I'll go there. Actually, okay, let's go there now. I don't feel like doing all my exploration right now in this zone. So let's just go do this. I'm curious what this was, because this...
花の香りがしますね。もう少しここで休んでもいいでしょうか。
甘い波が押し寄せている。
Oh, interesting. We have blue. Wait, when did I get those? I don't remember getting blue libation. I mean, cool. What? When did I get those? I do not remember. Because I had 1700, and there's no way in hell I got them just from... Yeah, it must have been from exploration. I mean, I did explore all the ruined places. Oh yeah, and that was it. So there was the sun version and the ruined version, I think, of the Cloudless Basin too. So the Eye of Twilight had the one that you did as part of the main story where you actually fought Aquila, but then there's like the destroyed version after the story. So it's like, yeah, like it was crazy how much they had in less content. But I did explore that as well, so I got all the shit there too. So maybe the destroyed versions of it, instead of giving the orange one, gave blue, and I just didn't pay attention. Wait, what? Hold on, there's new content? No, it doesn't. Oh. Oh. Wait, what the fuck's this? We always able to do this? Maybe we're always able to do this, but we didn't have all the constellations. And now it's like, nope, all of them are here now. Is that it? Nothing I can. Okay. Yeah, oh yeah, I gotta do Memory of Chaos. I've been putting that off for a little bit too long. Either way, I think that's all I'm going to do for today. I will probably play... Well, I'll have to do my Divergent Universe tomorrow, the next day at the very least. And I'll probably wrap up all the exploration in that Golden Wheat place, and probably Memory of Chaos. I'll wrap it all up in one. Maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day, we shall see. But I'm going to go ahead and call it. How long will I be doing this for? 3 hours? It definitely felt shorter than the last one. Because, like, I think I maybe put in, like, another, I guess, 6 hours cumulative. It's not bad. Although I was, like, wasting a lot of time. I was, like, going through all the lore and shit, being slow as fuck. Whereas it felt like, I guess there wasn't any exploration. Whereas, like, what really took a lot of time was, like, doing all the exploration, all the combat and stuff, which was pretty much non-existent in this patch. It was mostly story with very little actual combat and exploration. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and call it. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time.